Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Hodo. Welcome to What's Next Agents of Change. Today we're going to be talking about journaling. It's not your mama's journal, and my guest is journal creator and designer Teresa Merriman. Teresa is the owner of Mind's Eye Journal. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Cindy. It's so good to be here, and it's nice to meet all of you. I create journals of different sizes and papers on the inside so that people can do whatever they want in them. And I make them out of leather and, like I said, all kinds of different sizes, So, I've been doing this for 15 years, and over the years, I have seen so many wonderful things. When I first started making journals, I was like, well, this is fun. This is a fun craft. And I believe in journaling. I've always kept a journal myself. But then year after year, I start learning from other people what benefits that they are experiencing through the act of journaling, through the many different ways in which you can journal as well. So it's been a fun journey, and I can't wait to see another 15 years.
What happens? Yeah. You opened a whole new world to me when it comes to journaling. In my mind, that's why I call it not your mama's journaling, because I was always taught, I thought journal was like English composition in school and you had to write like a diary. Well, and then later in life, I learned, you can do something as simple as just like gratitude. Write down 3 things a day that you're thankful for. You don't have to be writing all this long stuff. Some friends and I recently were talking about even journaling about one new thing we learned each day, just to have a little journal for that. So tell me some things that maybe 3 ways that you've seen people journal, or 3 benefits of journaling.
Well, I have all kinds of different stories, and some are really modest and humble and great, and others are these big life-changing events that happen for people, Right. So, I have a client who lives in Florida, and she has, I don't know, probably 100 journals of mine, all different, over the years she's been collecting. But it's because she likes to assign a theme to each one. So she's got one that is all these, as she calls them, husbandisms, because her husband is very funny. And he says these funny things, so she wants to remember them. And she's dedicated this journal all about it. Where her husband recently had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he's starting to lose a lot of who he is, and he's becoming something else, I guess,
Right.
And so she goes back and reads in this journal and all the other ones that have themes that just sort of celebrates all the fun, loving stuff in her life, and they're treasures for her,
Absolutely.
I have another client who exited the hamster wheel, got out of the corporate America stuff, and started his own coffee company for athletes. So this is sugar-free flavored coffee that's delicious, and you don't have to dress it up with creamer and stuff. He said that he saw my journals, and he's like, that's what I need to do. I need a plan. So he used the journals to just manifest this, drew pictures, wrote out formulas, documented his travels as he's investigating all these different coffee beans and stuff. And now he's in his 5th year in business and going great. He's starting to get into grocery stores and stuff now too.
That's awesome. And the thing I like about these is they do have a bit of old schoolness to them. They're just durable. You can hold them. The paper, she's got handmade paper and art paper and all that kind of thing. But I think about when you mentioned your friend with the business, think about in the old days, everything was written in hand and in journals or binders or ways to keep documentation.
Yeah.
I love that way for a business idea.
And now you have business notes from your very beginnings, which is a lot of times, where you define what your mission is. And this is what it's all about. This is the why behind your what, and to be able to remind yourself of that is gold, baby,
Right. I have a good friend, her name is Amy, and she just said as part of her grief healing process was she just started writing, and she didn't know really what it was going to become, but she realized it was so healing for her just to put down and get memories or even her anger or whatever out into that journal. And actually I've had her on the show, so her story is on the files of the show. But I thought that was really interesting to as a way for her to heal and just kind of write down and work through that grief. And it wound up becoming like this whole other support. She started posting on Facebook, and so now she just actually has a support group for moms who have lost children. So it turned into almost like a mission for her.
Yeah.
And it all started just from journaling.
Yeah. So many benefits. So many. For me, I started journaling when I was 15, 16, right around there. And I was an exchange student to Costa Rica, and that was my first journal. I still have it. I was reading through it the other day, and I was like, whoa,
Like going back and reflecting.
Yeah. And, some of it would be in Spanish too. And I'm like, oh yeah, but, so it started as like a writing thing and just the accounts of the day or the week or whatever my frequency was. But then, you get older, you get more responsibilities, life happens, and you run out of time for stuff. And there was a period of time where I stopped taking time for myself, which was a bad habit. I knew for sure right then when I started noticing like some imbalance that it was because I wasn't journaling, which promotes more healthy behavior throughout your day as well.
Absolutely.
So if you do take that me time, write, or now what I do is paint. I like to paint and just with watercolors or acrylics or whatever, or draw something with colored pencils, anything, whatever, and just do it on the page. And if I want to put a quote or a word or something, just to remind me of the mood I was in, what I'm feeling, what I'm processing, whatever, that's what I do. But the act of journaling itself, taking that me time, it's a rest period, it's an introspective period, and it really does help me make healthy decisions all throughout the rest of that day that I did a journal.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. And that time, taking time for yourself, because especially as entrepreneurs, we tend to try to take care of our businesses, our people around us, our families, whatever, our pets. And we tend to forget that taking care of ourselves we forget to take care of ourselves. Yeah. And self-care is vital. It is not selfish, it is vital. So journaling is one way to practice self-care, as if like some people practice meditation. Journaling is a way to do that. So some people actually like paint in the journals. What are some other ways that people utilize your journals that you've seen from your customers?
So many ways, countless. Countless. But if you want to look at it from a functional standpoint,
functional. Yeah.
This is watercolor paper, but it should be called multimedia paper because it really will take to any medium, except fire. Don't light it on fire.
Don't light the fire.
Yeah. But for those that don't really tune in with the art of the written word, they're tuning in with the art of sketching and still being in that meditative state and taking care of yourself and the whole journaling adventure. So that's the paper sometimes will be more suitable for whatever your journaling habits are. I would say if you don't know what your journaling habits are yet, to always go with the watercolor paper, because the handmade paper is different, It's limiting.
While you're talking?
Sure.
Okay.
It's limiting. I mean, it doesn't behave as well to wet media like watercolors,
Okay.
So it really is meant for the written word. And because it's not as thick as the watercolor paper, I can put as many pages of that as I can into a book. So you get a higher page count. This one alternates between the two.
Isn't that beautiful?
So if you can't make up your mind, I can alternate and it'll be okay.
And I have a friend who did a book, and it kind of looked like a journal, and she did pressed flowers in her book. And so she did this whole book of pressed flowers. And I thought, well, that is really cool.
Yeah, and that is a journal entry. There are no rules in journaling.
That's the thing. There are no rules. I always thought there had to be rules, and I didn't. Not big on writing, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be an ever journal. But now I'm like, I've got one for house guests as a guest book when people come visit. They can sign in, write a little note. And so we keep that in a special place in the house. And then I have one for my business, like thoughts and things for like the shows or whatever.
Ideas
for business.
Yep.
And then I have one just for venting, which I've showed her a few pages. I'm not an artist, but I drew and it's pretty funny. But
they were very colorful.
I just had to write a few things down and get it off my chest. And that's healthy, you know, for people as well. One of the things that I love about Teresa's journals that I have given as gifts is she makes, and you can go to her website, mindseyejournals.com.
Yeah.
But she makes these small journals that are about this big, a little bit bigger than a moon pie, I guess you could say. And they're perfect for traveling. And so you can have them in a suitcase or a travel bag. And if you go on trips, you can just jot little moments or
I do a lot of outdoor hiking and stuff. I love to hike around in the mountains. So these little palm-sized journals, I have these hiking pants. They have cargo pockets on the side, and it fits right in the cargo pocket. And they weigh like not even half a pound. So every ounce counts.
Yes.
So it's really a wonderful way to travel with them too. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a right way or wrong way to tie the journal back, but that was my interpretation. There are no rules. And so, thank you so much today for coming on and helping me. I wanted to show your product. She's in town running to your first show since the pandemic shutdown. And so we haven't seen each other in probably a year or two. Probably a year.
At least a year and a half.
Yes, a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that you're able to get out and be back out in front of people to come just hands-on see it, but then also people can see it online. And tell us how people can follow you. Like if they want to follow you on social media, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, so Mind's Eye Journals, and I know it's hard to say, but once you say it a couple times, you'll get it.
Yeah.
But Mind's Eye Journals, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me at Mind's Eye Journals on Instagram. My website is mindseyejournals.com. Any of those avenues. I'm also on YouTube, and I do lots of, I call them Tidbit Tuesdays. And if you want to learn like art tricks and tips to do in your art journal, there's like 22 episodes or something like that on there. You can totally find me. I'm track downable, Mind's Eye Journals. And I am so happy to be here to help you too. I think the message is clear. Journaling is good for you. It is healthy. It's a good habit to get into. So healthy living, yay.
Yay, healthy living. Mind, body, spirit. And so Teresa's kind enough for viewers who are interested to give us a promo code. So if you're interested, you can hit me up and I will give you the promo code. And you can go online and get, if you're interested in the journals, you can get a discount.
You get a discount and free shipping too. So there you go.
So hit me up if you need to know the promo code. They make great gifts, wedding gifts, things like that too. So I do a lot of gift giving with the journals, graduation, things like that.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Any excuse you can think of to get one.
Right.
I'm in.
So I'm picking up 3 while she's here. So awesome. Thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your talents with the world and helping us use your beautiful artwork and display it, but also establish healthy habits with the journaling.
That's right. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure, Cindy. I'm very happy to be here with you.
You're welcome. And I don't know if we introduced, this is Thunder. Her
Thunder,
dog.
the wonder.
This is the cutest. So he travels with her. When you start back at shows, do you list on your website your locations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Okay.
Show schedule.
So you guys can check out mindseyejournals.com for her locations as well. Thanks a lot. And you guys have a great day.
Bye.